Good morning. Hi, I'm Frank Messina, and this is the June 4th, 2024 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. Before we start, we have a few announcements. Please note, this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for a scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Seeing none. Pursuant to Governor Healey's March 29, 2023, signing of Acts of 2023, extending certain provisions of COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A 20, until March 31st, 2025, this meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. Reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while it is in progress may do so by calling 508-945-4410, conference ID 801-422-383 #, or by joining the meeting via Microsoft Teams through the link on the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access. We'll post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. Thank you very much. First item that we need to attend to is a roll call. Mr. Lear is absent. Mr. Burlingame is absent. Mr. Aikman is absent. Stephanie Hamilton is absent. What's going on here? Sandy Porter?
Here.
Janet Tennyson?
Yes, here.
Robert Stevens?
Here.
Nancy Barr?
Here.
And the chairman, Mr. Messina, is here. So
Steve just showed.
we have a, I'll wait till you sit down and then I'll ask you if you're here. Mr. Burlingame?
Here.
Thank you. So we do have two regular members absent, and we do have a quorum. So both Robert Stevenson and Nancy Barr will be, as alternates, will be, in addition to participating in the discussion, will also be voting members of the commission this morning. Thank you very much. Okay. We have the minutes of May 21st, 2024. This was a relatively short meeting. Any comments, corrections, additions, deletions? Move for acceptance.
Move to accept the minutes of the meeting.
A second, please.
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. I thought I shut that off. I apologize. It's ringing in my ears. Okay. Sandy, you were absent, and Steve, you were absent, so we'll take a roll call on the minutes. Steve, abstain?
Yes.
Thank you. Sandy, abstain?
Yes.
Janet?
I vote
Yes?
yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Yes, and the chair votes yes. Okay, we accept the minutes. Okay. I apologize for 1 second. The technology is driving me nuts. It rings in my ears. Okay. Again, we have one hearing, and this is application 24014. Is that a typo? 23014?
It is.
Okay. So 24014, and we heard in accordance with Chapter 158, the demolition delay bylaw, and 24014 to be heard in accordance with Section 12E of the Cape Cod Commission. It is 193 Main Street. If you come forward and introduce yourself and give us an overview of what you're proposing on this iconic and very historic structure.
What a beauty.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm Hilary Fuchs. And the application that we're making is to complete the restoration work on the exterior of 193 Main Street, which will include replacing all of the clapboard, because the clapboard is mostly rotten. It's attached directly to the sheathing boards, so the plan is to remove the clapboard, properly repair the sheathing, wrap it, and then install cedar clapboard with the same reveal as the existing, which is a fairly narrow reveal, so the look will be the same. The exterior trim on the building, as those of you who have looked at it closely know, is quite rotten. So a lot of that will have to be replaced or repaired. And much of the ornate trim is missing pieces. And the plan on the sort of ornate dentils and brackets is repair where we can, replace where we need to. The windows also need to be replaced, and the plan there is to put in place identical windows in terms of the external appearance. The actual type of window is still, I think, under investigation. In the ideal world, we would try to keep the existing windows, but we haven't yet come up with a good solution that balances sort of the modern needs for air conditioning on the one hand, heating, proper insulation, being able to open the window for fresh air, and trying to balance that with the old single pane windows with the wavy glass. So that's kind of a work in progress. I was contacted yesterday by Ellen Briggs, who said she was going to talk to Fred Ecker, who's done a lot of work in this area. So we may be able to come up with a solution that preserves more of the historical fabric of the windows than we think at the moment. We will also, and that's in the application, what we would like to do on the side, which you can't see from this picture, it's in one of the other elevations. Nope. Yeah, you can sort of see it there. There's a small side porch there, covered side porch, and we want to use half of that to put a half bath in. So basically the external wall, which is underneath that scaffolding board at the moment, will come out about 4 feet or so and cover half of the porch. It's in the architectural plans in the package. Again, it's not visible from the street. The external appearance will be virtually identical, and it will give us the benefit of having at least a half bath on that floor, because at the moment there's nothing on that floor.
Could you, I know the drawing's a little, it's kind of small. Do we have a pointer there?
I can point it out on the screen here if that helps. So,
Yeah, we have an electronic pointer that we don't.
Ours is not working.
Oh, it's not working. Okay, go ahead.
I've got a manual pointer.
Yeah, it's just,
We just
they
can't
won't,
hear
they won't pick you up.
So this is the
We
existing.
Yeah, we just can't hear you, so
Okay.
maybe just point and then come
Okay.
back and speak.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our
Okay,
high-tech announcing system.
So the top elevation there is the current appearance, and you can see in the middle on the first floor, that window in the middle is on that covered porch. And the elevation below that shows you when that window in effect has been bumped out. It's not going to be bumped out flush with the cape on the front, because the roof doesn't extend that far. So it'll still be set back, I'd say 2 or 3 feet from the front cape line.
Okay, now that you've explained it, could you just, go, don't talk?
Don't?
Just show me again where it is.
Okay. existing,
Yes,
proposed.
got it,
And this roof line here is set back.
Got it.
About 3 feet.
okay, the roof line will be set back 3 feet. I'll repeat what he said. Thank you very much, okay.
My friend in the booth there is
Well,
not
it's-
happy.
You know, it's live television, you know, and it's not like Johnny Carson. Okay, good. Why don't you continue?
So, well, that's basically it. So we've come to you previously for approval of various phases of the work as we've gotten to them. And what we'd like to do now is get approval for all the remaining exterior restoration and renovation work, because at this point, if we touch one part of it, we're going to touch other parts of it. So we sort of have to look at it as a whole. And the final appearance of the building will be restoration to its original glory, I would say. And other than the addition of this half bath, it will be exactly the same, but better.
Thank you very much. Okay, again, this building, this property has been before us a number of times, and I would like to just thank you again. We really appreciate the fact that you're coming back to us, even though generally we like to have one application, but we realize the complexity of this project and the need to do this on a continuing basis. And, you know, we are usually bound somewhat by the concept, if the demolition or the change is more than 20% of a gross floor area, we're supposed to involve the Cape Cod Commission. Hopefully, I think the commission will agree that even though the changes that are being proposed are greater than the 20%, is 20% threshold? Yes. That, you know, that we feel, that the criteria is you can exceed the 20-some percent, but we feel that if we do, that the changes you're making do not substantially mitigate its listing on the National Register, and therefore we do not refer it to the Cape Cod Commission. I'm jumping ahead to the end, but I just wanted to let you know the process that we're going to go through. So there's two things we'll do, is we'll first reaffirm or affirm the historical integrity of the property, and that it is, in fact, historically significant, which allows us then to proceed with a review under Chapter 158. Is, in fact, this demolition, you know, change the historical significance of the property? And secondly, not referring it to the Cape Cod Commission. Again, as I started off, we do appreciate, you know, you're coming back to us. This is an outstanding property, and it's kind of the centerpiece of the whole village, and they're very interested, you know, as you know. I had one question from somebody relative to metal pillars. Are there metal pillars on the property?
So to structurally support the front portico, we took down the original rotting wooden pillars.
Right.
And you will have seen those sort of, it's cantilevered at the moment with braces to hold up the portico. Structurally, we have to install metal posts to support the portico, and then wrap the restored wooden columns around those metal posts. So the metal posts we actually have, and they will be going up sometime in the next month or two. And you will be seeing those metal posts for quite some time, because it's going to take us a while to get the columns restored so we can wrap them around. So yes, people will see metal posts there. That's just an interim step.
When did the metal post appear on your property?
They've been there maybe a month.
Okay.
We have just painted them though, so.
Well, no, I'm almost commenting and that they're already starting to call.
Oh, yeah, no. I would not be surprised if you get
You
some.
have more sidewalk superintendents than you ever needed here. Okay, so anyway, I just thought I'd ask. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're
you
here.
may well get some additional calls.
Yeah. One question I do have, and then turn it on if I may, I apologize for that. The clapboards, you really don't feel you can save any of them? They're not, okay. And I tend to agree, just taking a look. And then we did have a comment yesterday relative to the trim and the ornate brackets and stuff, and we understand, I think I understand, you know, your attempt to save as many as you
Correct.
can, and then replace them, repair as you can. And of course, the windows, we do appreciate my good friend, Ellen Briggs, being dogged in historic restoration and connecting you with Fred Ecker, who's a renowned restoration specialist architect who can maybe help you in some way. Having said that, we really should look around to the rest of the commission. Do we have any questions, Sandy, or comments?
My only question would be, what color are you going to paint it?
Excuse me, Sandy?
What color are you
Being
going
that
to?
question is out of order, let's not go there.
He hasn't decided.
We haven't decided
We don't have
yet.
any jurisdiction of
I
color.
know we don't. I'm sorry.
We haven't decided. I think it's safe to assume that it won't be white.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'd like-
Also, thank you so much for
Sure.
the time and the effort you've put in to restore this building.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like to remind people that the Parthenon in Greece and most of the Greek buildings, including the Venus de Milo, was not white. It was painted many colors. It's just paint. Thank you. Janet?
No, I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and thank you very much. It's just a landmark in Chatham. It's terrific. Thank you.
Steve?
Well, as you said, as you said, it was perhaps one of the, it may be the centerpiece of the old village. It stands out for a number of reasons. It receives lots of attention, and I'm more than pleased to see the owner giving it the attention that it deserves. That building restored is going to hopefully be a catalyst for more successful efforts in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Robert?
No, just thank you. It's an amazing property, and what you're doing, you're going to be so happy when you get finished with it.
Years
It's really
from now.
special.
Yes, thank you.
Nancy?
I also just want to second, third, and fourth the gratitude for restoration. I have a couple questions, and one thing I wanted to emphasize, just because you're getting questions, is you're putting the metal up to, as a support, the metal pillars.
Correct.
But you are saving the original wood pillars and as much as you can, correct? You're not building new pillars. You're saving as much of that as possible and finding a way to rewrap them around the metal.
Absolutely. It's a somewhat thankless task, but yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that so that the public was aware that you're
Yes.
doing that effort. And my last comment or question is, I don't know if I can ask this legally, but would you be willing to keep us informed of what happens with the windows?
Sure.
It's wonderful if you're, would be wonderful if you're able to save them, but also if you're not able, it would be lovely to see what you decide or identify as the replacement, just for a matter of information.
Sure.
I'm very happy to do that. So you just need to let me know what the best way to communicate is
Yeah,
with
I'm
the.
not sure, but
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what the best process is to keep us informed, but I would love to be kept informed if you're willing.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
Yeah, well, we'll stay in touch. Trust me, we have enough eyes and ears on this program than you. As I got 3 emails this morning. Okay. All right. Okay, I think that's it. If there's no other further questions or comments from the members of the public, anybody in the public wish to be heard? One way or the other, for or against? All right. Janet, can we have a couple of motions? Or Steve, either one of you, ladies or gentlemen. First would be to reaffirm historical.
The first motion that I will make is pursuant to section chapter 158 of the Chatham General Bylaws. And I move that the Chatham Historical Commission reaffirms that the building structure at 193 Main Street is historically significant because it is whole or in part 75 years old or more, and it is listed within an area listed on the National Estate Register of Historic Places. It is further that it is located within a historic district.
Have a second?
Second,
Thank you.
we reaffirm.
Any other comments? All right, we'll do a roll call. Steve?
Yes.
Stephanie, Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes,
Robert?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right, number 1. Now that you affirm it, we have to determine that we're not going to impose a demolition delay as 158.
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the materials presented at this date showing that the proposed alterations, renovations at 193 Main Street do not constitute a substantial alteration to the contributing structure, and therefore a referral to the Cape Cod Commission for review is not necessary.
It's the back of the blue form, not the pink.
Yeah, well, we did that one, so why don't we just continue the back of the blue?
Okay. The Chatham Historic Commission also finds that the proposed work to be done dated, help me with that.
I think the plans have a date of,
Like February 13th, 2023.
yep. You got it.
Will not materially diminish the historic significance of the building at 193 Main Street, and therefore the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Roll call, Steve?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Nancy, and the chair votes
Yes.
All right, now we deal with the referral to the Cape Cod Commission.
We're not going to do that.
You got that one? Is that the green one or the pink one? The one you would do before, referral to the Cape Cod Commission.
Okay.
We're not.
We're going to do two motions. One of them, I move that the Chatham Historic Commission confirms that the dwelling building located at 193 Main Street is a contributing structure in the National Historic Register District. That's one motion.
All right, second to that?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments? Steve?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Nancy? And the
Yes.
chair votes yes. Now, last but not least,
I
referral.
I further move that the Chatham Historical Commission finds that materials presented this date showing that the proposed alterations or renovations to that structure do not constitute a substantial alteration to a contributing structure located in the National Historic Register District, and therefore a referral to the Cape Cod Commission for review is not necessary.
All right,
Second.
very good. Comments? None? Steve?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Nancy? And
Yes.
the chair votes yes. Thank you very much. Again, we appreciate your efforts and look forward. What's your estimated completion date?
Don't put yourself in that position.
Well, since I'm doing most of the work myself, I would say it's going to be probably easily 2 years.
Say again?
2 years,
2
I'd
years?
say.
Okay. Well, we
Ish.
have another Preservation Awards committee in about 2 years, so we'll see what happens. All right, thank you very much, Hillary.
Well, thank you, I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate your efforts. Okay, we have a number of items, just quickly, just to comment. Under old business, I haven't gotten an update on the court action relative to the Monomoy Theater, Washington Taylor House, and as soon as I get that, I'll share it, if anything.
It's about to happen, is it not?
The court has began.
Okay.
They're hearing motions.
Okay.
And this is the motion of whether or not he's allowed to build houses, which will allow something to happen with the Washington Taylor and the theater. The second item is the William and Ann Taylor Nickerson home site, and this is the efforts by PAL in order to prepare and provide the Historical Commission with information on the eligibility of the home site as a national register. That contract has been issued. The efforts are underway, and I had correspondence with Holly Herbster of PAL, and that effort will be completed in the fall. So sometime in October, November, we will get the documentation on the Nickerson homestead. The documentation consists of the results of the archaeological dig, and why it is eligible as a National Register site, which the commission, we will look at it, review it, submit it to Mass Historic, and ask for a determination of eligibility, which is the first step to potentially getting a recognition of that site as a National Register site. The boathouse, the saga continues. You know, we all know what happened at town meeting, and the failure of the bond issue for the efforts on the various efforts on the port. The town, I know, is working on ways to reduce the cost of that effort, and specifically on 90 Bridge Street, and hopefully there'll be some kind of revote at some point, and then there'll be work done to allow us to bring the boathouse back to Chatham finally. So, you know, it's going to happen when it happens, but it ain't happening yet. I know the boathouse is still in good shape, and Dave Doherty, who's potentially the owner of the boathouse, if you will, you know, has done a lot of work to button up the boathouse so it withstands weather, and it's waiting. And we have the funds through CPC to bring it back, but we just need the work done by the town to prepare for its receipt. Okay, I have a so-called chairman's report. Demolition delays, I guess there's nothing new to add to that. Just the same status of Bridge Street, Barcliff, and Highland, so there's no changes. I do have a couple of items that, if you could bear with me. And the first item is that I shared with the members of the commission, unfortunately this morning, I realized early this morning that I forgot to send it to you guys, and so we're not going to discuss it in depth, but I just wanted to let you know, in your inbox, there's a package which is the survey. We performed an update to the survey plan, I guess, in 2023, and that was where we paid Eric to look at the survey plan, and the survey plan is the status of all the Form Bs and Form As in the town, and to make some determination of what we've inventoried so far, what's still yet to be done, what's on the National Register or not, and what are his recommendations as a preservation consultant to the commission. So there are a number of recommendations, and Eric has provided us some guidance. I don't want to discuss the details now. I'd like you to review it. And at our next meeting, we're going to put it on the agenda to spend some time to review that. At the conclusion of that, we will then decide whether or not, and I shared with you a memo, just as all very, you know, just the beginning of a rough estimate from Eric Dre, what it would take to meet some of the requirements in the survey. If we agree this is something we want to pursue as a commission, then we'll proceed with the most important step, is go finding some money to do the work. So that's in your inbox. If you could take a look at it, we'll discuss it in detail at the next meeting. But I wanted to give you a heads up on that. Okay. Secondly, moving along, I just want to remind people, God bless you, or is it my grandfather would say, salute. There's a group in town called Historic Chatham, which we are actually part of as the Historical Commission, which we formed. Historic Chatham was formed immediately following the tercentennial. I think I said that correctly. Chatham's 300th anniversary, when we got together and realized that all of the historic venues and organizations in town were meeting for the first time in a long time. At the conclusion of the 300th, we realized there's not going to be any organization. So I guess it was Ron Nickerson and myself and a couple of other people formed a group called Historic Chatham with the Historical Society, and we still meet. The group, the Historic Chatham, consists of the Chatham Windmill Group, which this group is part of, ex officio, as supporting the windmill, the Atwood Museum, the Monomoy Wildlife Refuge, specifically the National Register Lighthouse on Monomoy, the Chatham Lighthouse, right on Main Street, the Marconi RCA Wildlife Museum, the Calb Nickerson Homestead, the Railroad Museum, and the Eldridge Public Library, and last but not least, the Mayo House. So this 7 or 8 groups form this historic group called Historic Chatham. As part of that, we do, Annie, could you put that one up? We do something called History Weekend every year. I think it's about the 8th or 9th year we do that. And I'm doing it to get some PR here, free PR, hopefully. You know, I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who watch the Historical Commission meeting. And so you're going to see these around town. So this is History Weekend, and on June 14th through the 16th. And some of the highlights of History Weekend, if you will, is the fact that each of the venues, you know, when we conceived this History Weekend, the idea was, you know, people who live in New York City probably never go to the Statue of Liberty, you know, because it's there, they see it. It was the same thing. People in Chatham, they know we have these very historic venues, but they may not go to that. So it's kind of June 14th and 16th. When we started this about 8 or 9 years ago, we thought it was before the season. Unfortunately, now the season's now changed because they're here. We have a lot of visitors in town. But each of the venues on the list here either has a half price or free admission. So you can go to these various museums, and the dates and the times are there of when they're open. Some of the highlights of the week, of History Weekend, if you will, is the Eldridge Public Library on Thursday the 13th is going to have Dan Zotto, our archaeologist who gave a presentation to us, present that to the community. So that's there. The Nickerson Homestead will be open on Saturday. The windmill, you know, with Mother Nature cooperating on Saturday the 15th, will be grinding corn. The Atwood would be open. The Marconi will be open. The Wildlife Refuge, the Lighthouse will be available if you can get out to the end of Monomoy and go for a tour. And of course, last but not least, the Railroad Museum is open. So, you know, I just wanted to let the members of the commission and the public who may be listening that that's going on History Weekend. Last but not least, you see this wonderful sign here. Hopefully the public can see it. This sign here, which you see here, I don't know if it's being transmitted or not. It is, thank goodness. Thank you very much. Is a program that was started in the 90s by Don Edge, rest his soul, and who started this sign program single-handedly in town because he felt that we had so many historic structures in town, buildings and businesses, that it needed to be acknowledged of what it was and when the building was put together. And so Don started a program, and he came to the Historical Commission, and I think Nancy was on the commission in addition to myself at that time, and Don Aikman, Nancy Yore, and some people who've been around a while, Sandy, also, you know, they started this program. And after Don had the program, Bob Oliver took it over. Then from Bob Oliver, Don Aikman took it over. And lately, we haven't had a chance to really do anything or pursue it. Excuse me?
Didn't Bill Manley do something with these two?
Well, Bill was part of it at the time, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But I've convinced Nancy, I clouded her perspective, and so Nancy is going to take over managing or being the point person for the sign program. So basically, for the members of the public, the 5 of you listening, if your home is 100 years old and you think you would like to put a sign, it's interesting that the 193 Main Street may avail himself of it, you know, to do a little research, not a lot of research. We have our Form Bs, you know, when was the house built, who was the original owner, and put that sign on your house. We provide the information and the documentation. Then the owner actually goes to the sign shop and gets the sign made according to our specifications, and then they put it on the house. I'm sharing it with the commission at that end, can't see. Okay, so it's just something we thought was worthwhile. Many, many communities, especially historic communities, do this. And we actually also, you know, we were very involved in the tercentennial signs, that, and then of course, the Preservation Award sign. And I guess from our perspective, you know, the more the public sees, you know, you see a little cape and you don't know if it was built in 1800 or 1953. You know, it's hard to tell the difference, and this acknowledges it. Okay, Frank Messina talked himself out. The other thing I would like to do at our next meeting, almost. The next thing to discuss at the meeting, and this is a request from Nancy, and I agree with her, we have a number of issues on hold on our agenda. Everything from the 75-year threshold to the administrative review process, and last but not least, our infamous demolition by benign neglect, change to our bylaw. Hopefully, in the near future, the town will have hired a principal planner who can do some of the help us in that area, and we could proceed. But I wanted to discuss at our next meeting what the commission felt we should address from a priority point of view. We can't do everything, but we certainly could get going with some of the things that we had on hold. Well, ladies and gentlemen, anything else that they would like, commission members would like to bring up? Yes, sir.
Could I ask that the commission members stay for a minute after we conclude the meeting? I just have a couple of things to ask and to tell you.
Okay, I don't know if that's legal, but we'll try it.
Doesn't pertain.
It's a personal matter, right?
It's personal, has nothing to do with the commission.
Yes, okay, so we wanted to just make sure that the police aren't watching. Okay, if there's nothing else, have a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second?
Second by Janet. Any other discussion? Thank you very much. Steve? Yes. Sandy?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Nancy, and the chair
Yes.
votes yes. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mark.